Good morning. My name is Gary Wyram. It's my pleasure to welcome you to today's Good News. Presently, we're teaching through the book of Proverbs. When you consider that Proverbs was written by the wisest man ever, Solomon, that can make our teaching from it seem a bit daunting. My assignment today is Proverbs 1:10. Its main focus is on not giving in to temptation. To help put this topic into perspective, let me remind you of a story you may have heard about a girl and a snake. A young girl was walking along a mountain path when she heard a rustle at her feet. It was a snake. Before she could react, the snake said, "It's too cold up here for me. I'm about to die. Please put me under your coat and take me with you." The girl said, "I know you're kind. If I pick you up, you'll bite me, and your bite is poisonous." "No, no," the snake said. "If you help me, you will be my best friend. I'll treat you differently." The young girl thought, all living things deserve to be treated with kindness, and he was the most beautiful snake she had ever seen. So she said, "I believe you. I will save you." Then she put the snake gently under her coat. Within a moment, she felt a sharp pain in her side. The snake had bitten her. "How could you do this to me?" she cried. "You promised that you would not bite me, and I trusted you." "You knew what I was when you picked me up," he hissed as he slithered away. Proverbs 1:10 tells us, "My son, if sinners entice you, do not consent." That's a pretty good summation of the lesson to be learned from the story of the girl and the snake. But it may be too obvious for us to take the topic seriously. Another story that we should find easier to relate to is the story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife, as detailed in Genesis 39, verses 7 through 10. "And it came to pass, after these things, that his master's wife cast long eyes on Joseph, and she said, 'Lie with me.' But he refused and said to his master's wife, 'Look, my master does not know what is with me in the house, and he has committed all that he has to my hand. There is no one greater in this house than I. Nor has he kept back anything from me but you, because you are his wife. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?' So it was, as she spoke to Joseph day by day, that he did not heed her to lie with her, or to be with her." Actually, the short-term result of Joseph's not giving in to Potiphar's wife didn't seem so worthwhile. She falsely accused him of rape, and Potiphar had him thrown into prison. But in the long term, his righteousness fit right into God's plan for saving Israel. In considering how to apply the lesson of Proverbs 1:10 to our lives today, I found it helpful to observe who is teaching the lesson and how well it was applied. Though Solomon is broadly acknowledged as the wisest man ever, he infamously didn't heed his own wisdom in this regard. In preparing this lesson, I used good old Google to see how many scripture verses dealt with temptation. Actually, I did not get a definite answer, but I was surprised to learn that in a list of the top 100, there were only 3 from Proverbs. Maybe Solomon's lack of attention to the topic helps explain why in Kings 11:3 we're told, "And he had 700 wives, princesses, and 300 concubines, and his wives turned away his heart." The story of Joseph and Potiphar's wife took place long before Solomon was king. One aspect of the story that is reflected in Proverbs 1:10 is where the lesson came from, to not consent to the enticement of sinners. The proverb starts off by saying, "My son." That makes it clear this is a lesson from parent to son. When Joseph didn't give in to Potiphar's wife, he didn't justify his resistance based on the effect his giving in would have on Potiphar. He said, "How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?" Apparently, Joseph's learning to not consent to the enticement of sinners also came from a parent to son lesson. I think that's the key to our being able to comply with this proverb, remembering that by not complying, we're not just risking falling into sin with the one enticing us, as children of God, we're risking sinning against our Father in heaven. Additionally, it's very helpful to remember that simply by complying as children of God, our Father has the greatest of rewards in store for us, as we're told in James 1:12. Blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial, for when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. And that is today's good news.